We're talking more Samara Weaving movies today. We took a little detour last week and talked about stop motion on Gene and Roger Talk Movies, but we're back with our friend Samara Weaving.
Stop motion was great. I have to say it again.
Yes. But we're actually going to talk about two of her movies today.
I still can't say that actress's last name.
Yeah, please, let's not even try.
I'm not going to try. I think I've given up.
We're much easier.
I have to take some lessons in phonics. But she's Irish, though. So let's figure that out.
Well, and we could always just call it Pahonix, right?
Oh, my Lord. Moving right along. Samara Weaving.
Much easier to pronounce her last name.
Yeah.
So we're talking about
nice Australian name.
The Babysitter, and we're going to talk about Mayhem as well.
Yes.
Gene, I think you watched Mayhem for the first time just last night.
Last night, yep.
Okay,
yeah. And I watched a little bit this morning, kind of skimmed it, final prep for this thing. Read up a little about Circle of Confusion, which was interesting. So,
well, let's talk about that.
Circle of Confusion. Well, are we talking Mayhem or are we talking Babysitter?
Well, we're talking both of them kind of right
at the same time.
Sure.
I thought we were going to do. Remember, we were
planning.
I know,
we were
would
talking
do
about splitting them up.
But now you want to do them together.
Do you want to do it that way?
I don't care. We get 2 episodes, or we can just get 1 episode.
Yeah, let's just do the one.
All right, we are. Well, Circle of Confusion is the guys who made the Walking Dead, a production company, and I was just intrigued by that name, Circle of Confusion. Of course, they got to make horror movies, so they're about behind the Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, and I guess they're also behind Daisy Jones 6 and Amazon, and then also they're behind the movie Mayhem, which goes hand in hand because it's Stephen Yeun, big character, and in The Walking Dead, which I'd still, to this day, makes me mad that the dude had to die. Why did you have to kill poor? I know he died in the comic books, but you don't have to faithfully follow the comic books, right? Unless maybe there's some contractual obligation, or I don't know.
Well, they didn't exactly follow the comic books either, though, so.
Yeah, but he died in the comic books, right?
Yeah, I don't remember anymore.
You're not that old, Roger.
I still have not watched the entire Walking Dead series. I think it's still on, isn't it?
I have no idea, but we gave up on that show a long time ago. Like a few episodes after Glenn died, the show just seemed to become increasingly illogical and just silly. And it just kind of lost its relevance.
My favorite, though, was...
It's come on.
The cost-cutting episode where Daryl was stuck in the closet. The whole time, I'm like, oh, they're over budget this season, so let's do a Daryl stuck in the closet episode.
Yeah, I just skipped that episode entirely. I remember you telling me about that, and I was just like, oh, my gosh. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, Daryl stuck in no.
But anyway, refocus. We're talking.
Yeah, we're talking.
Samara Weaving.
Samara Weaving, and well, she's a great actress. She certainly has talent. I think we're kind of talking about 3 movies here. Stop. Well, I almost said stop motion.
No. Yeah, Ready or Not.
Ready or Not. The Babysitter and Mayhem. It's just naturally. We're Americans. We got to rank things, and I think I would definitely put. Ready or Not is, I think, by and far my favorite of those 3.
Interesting.
Ready or Not, everybody could watch Ready or Not and just love that thing. I know because my wife, Anita, who is not a horror fan at all, watched that movie and she liked it. And my 13-year-old kiddo watched it and liked it. It was good stuff.
Well, did you show?
Just supremely entertaining. It's got some cool themes in there. Again, we went on that whole thing about the wedding dress, which was really cool, I thought.
But did your wife get to watch The Babysitter with you?
The Babysitter ranks really down far on the list. It kind of reminds me of, I just... It was kind of maybe like watching the movie Porky's or something. Because it's just too teenish, too... Like when Samara Weaving, she's in her Jeep, which is a nice Jeep. But then she bends over to get something out of the back seat. And of course, the camera just lingers right there.
Well, but
her little front, part of her body. And we just got to see that because teens are into that. Teen boys. And it's just come on. Well, I guess that's the demographic on that movie. For sure. But I have to just say, Roger, real fast, is that I used to live in California, Los Angeles, in a small town called El Segundo. It's immediately south of LAX Airport. It's part of the beach cities, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach, and I just loved it there. And I lived right across the street from El Segundo High School, so it was super cool to see The Babysitter. And the high school scenes were filmed at El Segundo High School.
Right.
So I just love that. And that was super popular high school for filming. They just thought there was so much filming going on at that high school. I just remember commercials were shot there. And, you know, their running track was open, so I'd run around their track like all the time. It had kind of a larger track, like a full quarter-mile track. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. And also on their stadium, they had this cool saying on their stadium. It just kind of sticks with me. In the stadium, and the saying goes like, if you want to discover distant destinations or distant shores, you have to lose sight of the shore. So I've always thought about that, and it's my time in L.A. And, you know, because I grew up in Denver, Colorado, and it was quite the big leap to move to L.A., so I had to lose the sight of Denver to attain better things by going to L.A. Yeah, so going to L.A. is definitely fun memories, and El Segundo is definitely part of it.
Well, I love the fact
I'd love to move back there. Sorry, I interrupted.
You're just the guy interrupting today.
Yeah, I'd move back there, but geez, there's no way you could buy a house there.
Well, and I just find it interesting that you call a town in California small. We're in Alaska, dude.
No,
There's a town here that has like 13 people in it.
El Segundo is small. It's like it's interesting. I talked about this with buddies because on the west side of El Segundo is the Pacific Ocean. You know that you can't go through that. The north side is the LAX airport. It's like a barrier. The south side of El Segundo is this huge Conoco refinery. So that's a big, huge natural barrier. And on the east side is the 405 freeway. So it's kind of like this isolated little island there right in the middle of 12 million people, Los Angeles. So,
well, how many people are living in that place?
El Segundo population is probably 100,000, probably.
Okay.
So it was like a small little town right smack in the middle of LA. It was pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah.
I just don't equate California with small towns on any level.
You have to be there.
Yeah, I guess
it was cool. Like I was a teacher at the time. I come home from teaching. You know, I just walk down the street. This cool Mexican restaurant. I always get these takeouts. You know, these fajita takeout. This is the greatest thing. And if you wanted a burger, there was a little mom and pop burger shop right down the street too.
Well, very nice. So there's some nice backstory on why Gene sort of liked The Babysitter a tiny bit.
Yeah, the movie it would have worked for me, but it's just not so that teen sexuality thing. It just seemed really silly. I don't know. I guess I'm too removed from being a teen boy.
A little bit.
I'm a little bit, yeah.
I'm actually perfectly fine with how they set that movie up because I did like Samara Weaving actually shows some range in this film because she's the babysitter for. How old is that kid?
Oh, the kid doesn't need a baby. He's in high school.
Right.
He's like a freshman.
They've set it up where the parents are overly protective, clearly have been overly protective of this boy forever.
Right.
And, of course, he's kind of mistreated and bullied at school.
Right.
And
I guess they didn't like the bullies. The bullies were not really bullies, but they were just criminals.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Is that what modern schools are like today?
Well, there's some bad stuff going on in modern schools, but the bullies, that one, he had his little group.
He has this little group, and he's a straight sociopath.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he transcends bulliness, and I kind of didn't like that he was extreme on the bullying because it left a dark tone on the movie, which should have been like light and funny and horror comedy, but his character left a bad taste in my mouth.
Well, and he kind of gets taken care of at the end a little bit.
A little bit. You know, a car runs over his bike.
Right. Well, and his buddies,
they turn his back on him. Yeah.
But the premise is that, of course, this kid that's been overly protected still has to have a babysitter because the parents are going off on some little holiday for the weekend or whatever. And there's this nice interaction, and Gene is talking about kind of this exploitation element of Samara Weaving's body, fully clothed the whole movie, by the way.
Yes.
But it fits in the context of this overly protected boy who has
Yes,
had,
it fits in with his character. Yeah.
right. It has, so of course he's going to be looking. Of course he feels like a big shot because it's Samara Weaving, incredibly
Yeah.
beautiful woman,
Yeah.
and she's friendly with him, and so she is supportive of him and is giving him some really good advice on, don't worry about people like that, be true to yourself, all of this stuff. And so I really liked that dynamic there, even though, of course, as the movie plays out, Samara Weaving is setting him up for this sacrifice.
Right.
But there's this early stuff in there where, yeah, Samara Weaving is showing that, I could do dramatic acting if somebody ever really asked me to do that. And I just really liked The Babysitter because it does show that range. I also like The Babysitter because it is like a berserk version of Home Alone with extreme violence.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
the kid ends up kind of trapped in his house with, 5 satanic cultists who are trying to kill him.
Very good analogy. Home Alone, he takes care of the one kid outside, and he falls, and a belt wraps around his neck, chokes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got...
He shoots this one cheerleader, and she just goes off. Goes, "Oh, you shot me and then the boob."
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, come on.
Yeah, and so it's definitely over the top horror comedy kind of thing.
Oh, definitely horror comedy.
I think Samara Weaving is maybe kind of drawn to scripts like that because all 3 of these movies kind of have a comedic element to them. Ready or Not certainly did, with the maids getting killed left and right, and everyone.
She's my favorite.
She was my favorite, right? And so it's kind of like she's found like her little niche or whatever where she fits and really shines. And so I like The Babysitter a lot, actually. I haven't seen the sequel because there is a sequel.
Yes. They get into the kid's relationship with his like friend that's a girl.
Mm-hmm.
That they go to El Segundo High School.
Yep. And I liked all those scenes. I mean, there was nothing in the movie that I was like, oh, this is not something I want to see. It's also very light, though. So similar to Ready or Not, and The Babysitter, and even Mayhem, there are these light films that you can kind of just consume and then go on with the rest of your day. There's nothing too deep going on in this.
Well, I would beg to differ on those three. Your statement there. I think for me it's like watchability. For me, like some movies you can just watch over and over again because they're just great. They work with your sentiment, how you are. Like Dune really works for me. So I'm looking forward to the second one. I've seen the first one probably like 15 times already.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, maybe not so much, but Ready or Not is one of those very watchable movies. Like, could I watch it tonight? I could. Can I then watch it 2 months from now? Yep. But could I watch, The Babysitter or Mayhem again? No, I'm not going to do it. It doesn't work for me.
I look at it as movies you can just put on. They're light. There's nothing that major going on in them that requires you to think, really. And so I can see that. And Mayhem, what movies reminded you of that film as it was unspooling?
You're going to like this because I think one of my favorite action movies of all time, Raid Redemption.
The Raid, yeah.
Raid, yeah. That movie is just... It's from the very opening credits to the end. It's just nonstop action. And the guys, they have to fight their way up this apartment complex, right? And the big gangster boss is at the top level. And so you got to fight your way up every level of the building. So that movie's great, and just how they go up and up and up, and they have to go through so many trials and tribulations to get to the top. So that's a pretty good action. That's actually a great action.
Oh yeah.
And I own that movie. It's pretty cool. And so this movie reminded me of Raid Redemption. Yes, because you have to. Yeah. Stephen Young and Samara Weaving, they have to go up the floors because the guys at the board of directors from this maniacal law firm, they of course, they
Out of control law firm.
They occupy the penthouse suite, so you got to get up there. So they go through all these machinations and schemes and manipulations, and they finally get there and kill the guy. And Stephen Young punches him. He falls down this inner stairwell, of course. Falls like 10 stairs.
But the whole premise is the Stephen Young character. He is a lawyer there. He's basically sold his soul to this place. There's a nice montage at the beginning where it shows him on his first day of work. And then now here he is going up the corporate ladder, and he's continuing to degrade.
Yes. But it made me think, I wish this movie was more like Raid Redemption, because it seemed like actually the real action in the movie didn't start till and it seemed pretty obvious to me. I was watching it with my wife, and my wife was like, I'm done. But around minute 24 or so, it's like all prelude. We learn about Stevie Young's character. It's kind of a lot of talking. I mean, not a lot of action. You meet Samara Weaving's character. She's a lawyer too, representing some people who want to.
Well, no, she's not a lawyer. Remember, because he.
She's like a scam. Yeah. Well, we got the scam.
Yeah.
And so they wanted an extension on their mortgage or something.
Their foreclosure.
Yeah, and so they throw her in the dungeon. But it seems like it takes 24 minutes for them to really get going to the action. And the movie's about a virus that infects people, and it just makes you go crazy. You just want to punch people and do basal human things, and
that removes inhibitions.
And there's no accountability, because they go over in the beginning that if you can kill somebody while you're infected, you're legally not liable. So there's no accountability. So you can just do whatever you want, which is a little comment on our society today about the legal system.
Right.
Lack of accountability. But but why don't you just start the movie right there? Just, and you could have these backflashes to tell the prelude, but just don't wait 24 minutes and then go. Just from minute 1, you're there, and you're fighting it out, and So I wish it got rid of some of that prelude.
But again, I think Samara Weaving once again shows that she can do serious action stuff and be believable in it. It's so amazing to me, because she's this, I don't even know if she weighs 100 pounds. She's a tiny little thing. But when she
she weighs more.
Well, whatever.
That would be really thin.
She's real tiny. I mean, she's not.
Stephen Young punches her.
Right, I know, and that's the thing. She can do the action scenes and make it believable.
What if he really punched her?
No, he did not.
I bet he did.
He did not.
I bet they're friends, and he just...
No one's punching Samara Weaving.
Dude, I went to this Catholic high school, and we had to do this play once. I remember we were doing the Jesus, the story of the guy who meets the robbers, and then the guys come and they save him, and but we did this play, we acted it all out, and it was just so funny. It's like the robbers came, and they were just supposed to mug the traveler, and but they were during the play they were actually punching him in front of the whole class. They were punching him. It was so funny. They just had to do it, and the poor little guy was laying on the floor. He even had this necklace on that had beads and stuff, and he ripped it off, and the beads went flying everywhere, and it was pretty cool.
Was the audience horrified that a young child is being assaulted on a stage?
No, we were in high school. I don't know why I thought about that, but just the whole punching thing. I bet he did punch her.
No, he did not.
I bet they're friends. I'm
is
sure
not
he did.
Punching her. But my point is, Gene, that Samara Weaving is in that Kate Beckinsale realm where you can be believable in an action.
Nail guns have safety features. You can't.
Well, and okay, here's a story.
Tell me about this.
Here's the story. So sometimes these these important carpenters, they disable those things. And if you're ever
Why would you do that? Because you can just shoot that thing.
Well, and the funny thing is if you're ever on a construction site, and of course, the last time I was on a construction site was in the late 70s, but they would always be clicking those triggers, click, click, click. So they'd walk around, click, 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 and then they would push it down onto the thing and do it. But as they're walking back and forth, they'd do that. Well, here's a dude who's disabled his safety on that thing, goes to click it, nails his foot right into the roof. Right into the roof.
Those things shoot nails with incredible force and velocity. Yeah, it would go right through your foot.
It did.
Yeah.
And another guy got one through his wrist one time. So you can disable those things. So I'm all about the nail gun being used.
Yeah,
by
that thing
Samara
would
Weaving.
Fly across the room and go through the door.
There's also a hilarious movie which a lot of people hate called Nail Gun Massacre. Have you seen that?
No, I have not seen that.
Okay. It's a dude going around killing people with a nail gun. So it's always nice to see a nail gun being used.
Yeah,
as a
nail
weapon.
gun being abused. Yes, in the way it shouldn't be. Yeah, but she shoots that nail gun. I was kind of really hoping that there would be a higher body count with the nail gun because there's a scene where they're like doing a face off, like Old West.
Right.
Yeah, and the maniacal lawyer leaves, and then her gang fights. Yeah, Stephen Young and Samara Weaving. I thought she would just massacre him with a nail gun, like a machine gun.
Right.
You know, like an MG34.
Yeah,
just plow him down. But no, they actually
kill
fight.
a lot of people with it. But I look at someone like her and her character in movies like this, and then like even the Ready or Not movie, where did anyone ask her to be Harley Quinn? Right? Because she could be a Harley Quinn character. She could have been in Suicide Squad, right, as Harley Quinn. She's got that, whatever that is, where, you can be a real evil character, as we saw like the Babysitter, where you have this, you're really nice and pleasant, and then now you're this evil person, and she's got the physicality to be able to pull off these action sequences. And I'm like, gosh, I wonder. And maybe I should look that up. Did she actually try to audition for that? I mean, obviously, it's going to be hard to beat out Margot Robbie, but, I don't
know. Could you find that? How would you find that out?
I don't know.
You can't find that out.
You could probably research and see who else was up for that role, maybe, or who tried to get it.
You could write her.
Right. Well, I'll give Samara a call later and see what she says. But I just
think about having her as a guest on our little show.
Right.
Because we do it in the Samara Weaving. And I actually looked it up. And there is a number. It says, call this casting agency at this number. And it says, she'll do your event starting at $10,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
we could have just wrote her a check, right? Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't take it any farther than that.
Well, and good, because our budget's really low for
our
the
budget
show.
is like not $10,000.
No,
our budget is like $10.
Maybe enough to get a new flash card for our
the mic.
Micro SD or something like that. But I really do. I just... the next Samara Weaving movie that comes out, I'm going to see it because I like her style.
Yeah, she has things in post-production. I should have looked up for this podcast what they were. Yeah, I don't have my phone with me.
I mean, obviously, horror type stuff, action kind of. Mayhem's more of a kind of action horror kind of thing.
What year was Mayhem?
It's relatively recent, the last couple of years. I mean, it's on Shudder, and it's going to always be on Shudder because they own it.
I think Ready or Not is later than Mayhem.
No, Ready or Not is actually the oldest of these three, I believe.
Are you sure on that?
I'm pretty sure.
I think you're incorrect.
Well, we can do
Should we take
research.
A pause? We're
Okay,
going to pause. We got to pause.
So
we did a little internet search.
We did some looking. So both Mayhem was actually, and The Babysitter were both 2017, and Ready or Not is 2019.
So yeah, I was right.
Yeah. So,
but 2019 isn't that weird. It's all like ancient history.
Right. It seems that way.
2024. Yeah.
She was in
5 years ago. Jeez.
Scream 6. She was in that as well. Which I saw Scream 6. I don't remember her character in that. I'll have to revisit that one.
I didn't see Scream 6.
Well, America's Sweetheart, Jenna Ortega's in it, so I wasn't paying attention. It's Samara Weaving.
We're not going to get into that. Move on.
But again, I think, I just really like her. I like her in these types of roles, and anytime she's going to be in one of these types of roles, I'm gonna watch it.
I don't know what's her take another pause. What's her latest?
What's her latest?
What's her latest thing?
Azrael, coming out in 2024.
So Azrael 2024 is a movie,
idea.
TV?
It's an action horror film.
All right.
Set to premiere March 9th in the South by Southwest Film Festival.
I think it's Austin, right? So who's the producer? Who's bankrolling this thing?
Now your C2 Motion Picture Group.
Okay.
So,
not an A24.
No, it's definitely. I don't know how close Samara Weaving is going to get to A24, but
Well, she did with Circle of Confusion, and those guys they're kind of big.
mm-hmm.
But A24, if it's good, they'll bankroll it.
Yeah, well,
And not all A24s are great. I've seen some.
correct. Because we were talking about that one Ghost movie. Wasn't that an A24 that we never did?
Which is good.
The
I
one
think
with
it's good.
The dude with the sheet on his head.
Yeah, it looks like it's ridiculous. The dude has a sheet on him. But no, it's pretty good. It's actually really depressing. Good. Yeah.
Well, we talked about a lot of stuff today.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Gene's backstory.
Yeah. So these movies are okay. Definitely. I think by far, Ready or Not is the one. So Samara Weaving. Sorry, Samara Weaving. Yeah, I can't recommend Babysitter or the one we just did, Mayhem. But yeah, Ready or Not, yeah, for sure. That movie it hits all the boxes. It's rewatchable. It's good stuff. Has some deeper themes if you want to look at that. And again, I love the transformation of the dress as you watch. That's great. Mm-hmm. Great stuff.
Yeah, I'm all about the Babysitter and Mayhem and Ready or Not. I like all three of them. I don't have an issue with any of them. Again, they're just light films that aren't, gonna.
Mayhem for me, it's just like I said. It's like if they had just even cut out the first 24 minutes and just started the movie right there, and then they could have blended those as flashbacks.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
Just start. Boom! You're infected and you're fighting.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they would have gone a little more over the top with the gore effects too. They needed
a little bit more over the top, like that scene where, again, the face-off that could have been like, people are flying and knocking over the walls, and yeah.
So, Gene, what are we doing next week?
Oh, I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Still do Poor Things.
But that I have to go see it at the theater. Is that right?
The movie's good.
Yeah, I'm not doing
good.
that. Not doing that.
It's good.
When it comes on streaming, stuff. I'll watch it and we can do it then.
It's Frankenstein. She's a Frankenstein.
I don't care. Isn't it also like 2 hours and something long?
Oh, dear
it's like,
God.
My God.
Just deal with it.
And they're all talking and stuff.
Just get your popcorn and soda and you're hot and you're good. You're golden.
No. I gotta watch it on streaming. So, as usual, we're going to end today's episode saying something will happen next week.
Yeah,
we don't know quite what it is.
Yeah.
We are looking to get director Scott Eggleston back with us for our 75th show, which I believe is going to be The Babadook.
Right. Kind of has a connection with ass sling and stop motion.
Right.
There is a connection there. And actually, the connection, I think, is through ass sling.
And maybe we will pronounce that woman's name properly.
Well, the first name's not so bad. The last name is like, wow, what the? It challenges my phonics abilities.
Yeah. So anyway, we will catch you next week with something.
Yeah.
Bye,
All right.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.